Hey, welcome back to ClearSpot. A mega project can have capital, land, and demand on its side and still get stopped by planning friction. A single planning decision can wipe out months of design work and force an entire delivery team back to the drawing board. In this episode, we'll use the UK mega project delay as a live lesson in how large European projects actually get built or blocked. Across Europe, very large solar farms are running into the same pattern. Technically sound projects slow down by non-technical issues. It's not the IV curves or the inverter sizing that kills them. It's biodiversity objections, visual impact concerns, flood risk fears, and procedural challenges. For site managers and project leads on 20 megawatt plus plants, these aren't abstract policy issues. They show up as redesign loops, shifting scopes, and moving dates. Let's break down the main pressure points and translate them into the reality you see on site. Start with biodiversity. Large ground-mounted projects in Europe are under strict scrutiny for their impact on habitats, protected species, and ecological corridors. That means surveys for birds, bats, flora, and fauna, often across multiple seasons. If those surveys are incomplete, or if mitigation isn't convincing, planners can delay or condition approvals. Next is visual impact. Local residents may argue that a sea of modules changes the character of the landscape. Planners look at sightlines, screening, glint and glare, and how the project interacts with heritage or tourism. Then you have flooding and water management. Authorities are cautious about how large solar arrays interact with runoff, drainage, and soil stability. Finally, there is agricultural and land use concern. Is the project taking prime farmland out of production? Is dual use genuinely planned, or just mentioned in a brochure? All of this is wrapped in procedural scrutiny. Did the developer follow each consultation step correctly, respond to objections, and update documents? On paper, these are planning topics. On the ground, they show up as constant changes to what you are supposed to build. 1 month, you have a layout with a certain number of tables and access tracks. The next month, a new buffer zone for biodiversity reduces the buildable area. You may be told to remove rows near a hedgerow, add wildlife corridors, or shift access roads to keep construction traffic away from sensitive areas. Flood risk concerns can force you to change drainage designs, add swales, or adjust cable routes to avoid waterlogged areas. Each of these changes triggers new drawings, new bills of quantity, and sometimes new contractor negotiations. From a site manager's perspective, that means updated surveys, revised stakeout, rebriefing crews, and resequencing work fronts, sometimes multiple times. And throughout, local expectations are shifting. What you thought was agreed with communities can get reopened when headlines appear. The most effective teams treat environmental and community issues as core engineering inputs, not as afterthoughts. That starts with evidence. Make sure biodiversity and flood risk surveys are done early, are properly seasonally timed, and are clearly mapped to the design. Store that evidence in a structured project archive so you can quickly show exactly what was done and when, rather than hunting through old emails. Keep a living log of community engagements. Who you met, what concerns they raised, and what commitments you made. On change control, be strict. When planning feedback forces a design change, treat it as a formal change event. Update drawings, update the risk register, and capture the cost and schedule impact. This discipline doesn't just improve delivery, it also strengthens your position if later disputes arise about whether you complied with conditions. When a high-profile megaproject is delayed, it sends a signal far beyond that one site. Financiers become more cautious, asking deeper questions about planning risk and community acceptance on every project they fund. Public trust can be damaged if people feel developments are being forced through, or if developers seem unresponsive to local concerns. At the same time, successful handling of these issues can set new positive standards. Better biodiversity integration, clearer dual-use models, and more transparent communication. For the industry, each flagship project is effectively a test case that shapes what the next wave of planning rules will look like. If you take one lesson from this episode, it's that non-technical planning issues quickly become major X-like. Share and subscribe for more solar insights. ClearSpot. Smart device. Smarter decisions.